Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here and it's Saturday the 3rd of December. Little update for you on how things progress I think during the next week or so and how things are going to be developing as we get middle of the month and towards Christmas. These are the 7 to 10 day mean 500 millibar charts. This one on the left from the ECMWF, the one on the right here is from the GFS model, and these are valid from a week today through till Tuesday the 13th of December, and still showing, look, this jet stream coming out of Canada, across the Atlantic, across the British Isles, keeping us on the cool side, above normal heights to the south, below normal to the north, and basically what this is doing is just squeezing through that jet stream, blowing it through the country, keeping us generally on the cool side, but never particularly very frosty, and pretty unsettled with some strong winds at times, but not desperately winter-like weather. GFS is a little different, look. Yes, we've got above normal heights through the Atlantic, but look, not making so much of the below normal to the north of that, but interestingly deepening this trough off the eastern states, deepening the trough here through Europe, look, and increasing this ridge across the Atlantic, squeezing that ridge northwards. Now, this is what I'm looking for this start of the build of high pressure in the middle of the month. I'm starting to still think that's going to happen, but my feeling at the moment is that's probably the 15th, 16th time that we see high pressure building. It goes cooler, it goes frosty, it may even go foggy at night, but it's not a depth of winter situation coming in from the east that we saw last year. And certainly the winds, if that high did build in, would most likely be coming in from a southwest or southerly direction, so it's not going to be cool. I think Scotland's still, even in that middle part of the month, getting bands of rain and perhaps even snow over the high ground coming through, but I think across England and Wales things probably drying up during that middle part of the month. Excuse me. How long that lasts for is open to debate just at the moment. Now, what did I want to show you on here first of all? Yes, this is what I was going to show you first of all. This is from the Ryan Mowry site, excellent Ryan Mowry site, it's a brilliant site. Shows us the Arctic oscillation, look, dipping into negative territory around the 10th of the month, then coming back up, and notice how today, look, the spreads of the ensemble, the various runs, are back into positive territory, so it's building on confidence. Now the Arctic oscillation, the AO, is basically the measure of the strength of the westerly winds going around the Arctic, and if they're strong from the west, that generally means the flow is zonal, so it means it's coming from the west across the British Isles, and it means we're staying generally unsettled conditions, never particularly very cold, and that's what that's hinting at. Similarly, there's the North Atlantic oscillation, and when the North Atlantic oscillation is positive, that means that the westerly winds are positive. Now you notice here that it dips into neutral briefly around the 9th or the 10th, but then comes back up. So generally as well, all the runs of the ensemble, look, are up in this positive territory. So we can expect this generally westerly flow through to the middle of the month. Now look, here's the 17th in here. Notice how it's just starting to dip off as we get into that middle part of the month. That might just be indicating that there's a little bit of a change on the way. And similarly, look, although you can't really make it out, the Arctic oscillation tends to a little bit of a dip towards the middle of the month. So it's this idea still of the flow tending to veer towards high pressure more than anything, I think, as we get to the middle of the month. So this is the mean temperature chart for today through to next Saturday. These are the anomalies, and you can see how we've gone blue now across the British Isles. Temperatures just a little bit below normal for the time of year, and that seems perfectly reasonable. I think they will be below normal for the time of year, but not drastically so. And looking at the mean precipitation chart for the same time, this is the anomaly, by the way, from today through to next Saturday. Eastern parts the drier and southern parts dry, which is exactly what you do expect with a west to northwesterly wind. Most of the rain, look, on these western coasts, so conditions really are essentially around about where we would expect them to be. So should we take a whiz through the charts? These are from weatheronline.co.uk. This is the GFS model, and it looks reasonable enough. It's the operational GFS. The time is up here, look, top left hand corner. There's low pressure off towards the northeastern parts of Scotland. As we go through the next few days, low pressure stays in control. Look, it's always these northern and western areas that see the highest risk of catching some showers, and pretty breezy and staying cool or even cold for all of us. Looks like it stays breezy, cool into Monday and through Tuesday as well. This feature here could bring some more persistent snow across Scotland, perhaps across the high ground of northern England, the hills of Wales too. Cold and breezy for many of us. Just need to watch these sort of little lows coming through now, because if temperatures were to take a dip of a degree or two at the surface, it could be that almost anywhere goes into a sleety, snowy type situation. But again, I stress, England and Wales, we're not talking about vast quantities. You know, we're talking perhaps a dusting for half an hour at the very most. Scotland may be a little bit different. Through Wednesday, still breezy look, still got this flow coming in from the Atlantic from this low, and by Friday, look, quite a big change. Let's just knock that back a bit. Look at this low that sweeps through the Midlands. This does bring the potential for something more wintry through Thursday evening into Friday morning across England, Ireland and Wales. As this feature clears through, it could drag in some very cold air behind it, could turn precipitation to snow for a time, and could get a centimetre or two even at low levels on Friday evening. So it's just one to watch out for. And again, northeast England, eastern Scotland may well see more persistent snow showers potentially on Friday evening as this northerly flow comes in. I'm going to watch that through the week for you. Notice how the ridge of high pressure builds in through Saturday, and generally watch this area of high pressure as we go through the following days, because although the flow look goes back into the west and we get this other cold blast to come down a week on Monday, which is, you know, perfectly believable, look what happens as we get into the middle part of next week. Here's the high building in. Now, I don't think the GFS can particularly handle that all that well, but he's building in the high. I think this is what's going to happen, and we're going to go into this west to southwest flow. We're still with Scotland, as I said, in these unsettled conditions, but we need to watch this high, because as that slips its way eastwards, it could bring us these frostier, foggy conditions around the, let's say, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. It's that sort of time period that could develop, and then we need to watch what happens after that. I've got a feeling we could go chillier as we run up to Christmas, but we'll see what happens. So I hope that's useful for you. Remember that this site is kept free of charge by the adverts you see around it. If you see an advert you like, click on it, go through to the sponsor. It generates revenue for us, which means we keep the site free of charge, and it also shows the sponsor that you're interested in the site too. Now, please do keep your feedback coming as well, because that's really important. It tells you what sort of forecast you want to see on here. I'm making some improvements behind the scenes that hopefully you'll pick up on over the next few weeks. So, thanks again for watching, and keep the sun shining.